All right. Good evening, everybody. Let me do a quick sound check. Make sure you guys can hear me. Got to change one thing real quick here. Go over to live chat. There you go, Josh. Look at that. Got some emojis going on there. I like it. I like it. I don't think Ernest saw the emoji I put up for him yesterday. I think he was gone. I don't even know where it is now. It was a good one though. It wasn't that one. Where was it? No, it's not just Dorito. Man, I scrolled down and I came right to it. Now I can't find the same thing. I had a good one for him too. Man, I scrolled down. Man, I can't find it. It's a good one. All right, guys, sound check. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. It looks like it's coming through on my end just fine. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me before I get fully started here. And I can't find it. It may have been a picnic basket. I don't know. We'll see. All right, cool. Thank you. All right. So, sorry I'm a little bit late, guys. I had something that I had to take care of real fast. Let's bring it out. Start. Now, remember, Thursdays typically are a little bit funky. Obviously, markets were all over the place today. Up, down, left, right, sideways. Tesla's good. Southwest is happy. Cat was down. Southwest, just everything was good, bad, ugly. It was funny. Every 5 minutes, something was good and then something was bad. Tesla was bad, but it was good. And this guy, just all over the place. As far as the markets go, though, at least in currencies, you can see a little bit more kind of muted today. 11 on the euro. Pound kind of mixed, right? You can see with the dollar, it's still down, showing dollar strength. Yet you see the pound yen is up 33. Very, very small day. Only about 1/3 of its actual ATR. Dollar Swiss is actually the winner of the day. Ty, I don't know if you're in here yet. Swissy, baby. Swissy. 54 pips in the last 24 hours. All right. Followed closely by the dollar yen. And again, that's dollar strength. It is, it's there. Core durable goods. We talked about it. We said that they have a great track record. Again, when we look at it before of hits or misses, you can see we're typically like 0.1, 0.2 off. Huge miss on this one, right? 0.2, 0.8, and then 1.2. So an entire percentage point is big when it's normally a 0.1 miss. So big miss today. All right. All right. I love this. EU says no to Boris Johnson increasing no Brexit deal risk. It's like, okay, this is going to be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks over there with Brexit. Kind of happy about it. I think Boris is a little bit crazy, a little bit out there, but I mean, who knows what he'll actually get passed and not passed. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting some popcorn out because I think it's going to be pretty funny to watch it all. Yeah, I don't know. We shall see, but it'll be good because it means that we'll probably get a lot of movement back and forth. Like when we had the ping pong effect before, when May just keep getting shut down. I think that's what we're probably going to get in this scenario too. Not shut down, but the bouncing back and forth because one day it's crazy, the next day it's good, then it's bad, then it's good, then it's bad. So again, I like that. And again, that's going to be in October, which means September is when things will start getting a little bit dicey and they'll start getting desperate. And that's where we'll start getting some good movement. All right. So very, very excited about that. All right. Now, going into tomorrow, the 26th of July, I can't believe already, this is our advanced GDP number. And again, I think this is an important news release. All eyes on advanced GDP, and here's why. Okay. So Trump uses not only the market, but he uses GDP as kind of his gauge, as I mentioned before, as his gauge for, whether his presidency is successful or not. Okay. With that being said, it's not like the stock market had a great day, right? It's not in a bad place. It obviously is much higher, but GDP is something that he had always focused on. Talking about raising things over 3, and everybody said, "Oh no, it's not possible. They can't do that." And then he was able to do that, but this is a big gauge for him, and I think that's what he's going to focus on right now. I think that'll be the big thing. Again, slide the daily FX over. Again, I always laugh at this. As you guys can see, Bitcoin once again had a great day. It's back at 9,700. Oil's still holding firm down here at 56. It did pop up from the low 50 or the high 55s, but again, I thought this would be moving more. Again, you see gold is red, and again, some dollar strength in these two pairs as well. So Interesting. Jumping over here just because sometimes this one is a little bit easier for Friday. Going into Friday here, you can kind of see really not a whole lot. GDP is really the only thing tomorrow. Even the European news, again, overnights, low. You got a little bit of this professional survey, nothing in Mexico. We don't really care about this number. It's not going to affect us. And then you guys can see, really, it's just, again, it's all going to be at 8:30 in the morning. Again, the Baker Hughes rigs count really doesn't do anything in currencies, but all eyes are going to be on this 8:30 number tomorrow. Okay. Now, hopefully, Boris Johnson has got his Twitter account online. I would love for him to start dropping some tweets tomorrow at about 11:30. I think that would be some great movement to cap the morning off and then be done by noon. Okay, so the goal is to be completely done and out, all positions closed by noon tomorrow, just to kind of keep yourself a little bit on the safer side. Okay. All right, let's dive in. I would say let's go to the other thing. I didn't even load. I didn't even load up the NinjaTrader today. I just figured the last couple of days we've used this one, so I might as well just stay with it because everything is drawn on it. We will start from the top. We will go to Aussie Yen. Now, again, I don't have to readjust the charts because they are already there. All right, so this is what we talked about being at the bottom level of this kind of blue kind of magnet area, right? I guess I have to take these off each day. Hold on, because those things will drive me crazy. All right, so we talked about this kind of lower buying area, right? This kind of, again, we could actually shrink it down to just this formation here, but this was the grander area, right, that we were looking at. And again, this was kind of getting sucked back in. So it was a level below this kind of channeling effect, right? And we said that the true level here was there to there. Okay, that was the actual popping point. And you can see, again, we popped on the 4-hour and we've been holding now. Okay, so it's not a huge move. We're talking about, a low of 75.29, and we're up at a high of 75.59. So, 30 pip move, but again, it did bounce off from the bottom of that channel, and it did clear it. And again, that channel is kind of, again, a lot of traps there. When it breaks out of the channel, support and resistance traders will start to go short on there. In this case, supply and demand is what really managed it. Again, looking back at not only this zone here, but this kind of nice retest. Again, price shot down, formed a very, very nice level, and then spent 6 candles kind of shooting out the top. Again, look at this. Respected it once, came back down, hit, turn, pop, up. Okay, and again, that's on the 4-hour. If you look over here, it wasn't as fast, but again, same type of piece. We had this level here that we had talked about before, but again, we talked about how we had 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next time through would have been 5, and it actually popped through the top and then just kind of stopped and is now based sideways and done nothing over the last couple of hours, which is not surprising, but what it did run into was this kind of single wick against the wall. Okay, so it hasn't fully retraced all the way up, but it did give us a little bit of a popping signal. Going into Friday, this one will probably run out of steam on us before we have too much that's actually tradable out of it. If you were in it now and you got somewhere in down here, you may, you're up about 30 pips. I would probably start thinking about just taking profit off and, capturing your 30 pips and being done with it. Again, kind of a weird situation because we knew we had a basing level. It wasn't strong, but it was supported by another level right behind it. Okay, and again, that's what we've seen. Anytime it breaks out, it kind of pulls back. Here, same thing, right? Up, down, pretty nice, right? Then it got sucked right back in, down, up, down again, bouncing through this channel, and that's exactly what it did. Broke just slightly lower into the areas of demand. Okay. Little sister time. Aussie dollar. Let this load. All right, so Aussie dollar. We had that nice little pop, and again, we talked about that pop being an interesting kind of level to bounce off of. It was still somewhat in a downtrend, so we weren't looking to go long. It's in the middle, so it's not at the bottom of the channel. It wasn't necessarily a reversal, and we said we were going to have some problems. It was a nice zone, and it did. It hit once, it bounced, it hit again, bounced again, and then drove through. And then what did it do? It retested. Okay, look on the 4-hour. Okay, so it came down to here. Okay, it opened here. It ended up closing down here, but it did come back into the zone and drop through. Up. I wish this would just set for all of them. There we go. So again, you guys can see this one did. It wasn't as clean. We normally like a clean breakout and then a retest. But again, it's a continuation. It came down, it popped back up, and then dropped. Okay. On the lower time frame, okay, you guys can see in a bit more here. I was trying to craft this so you guys could get a real good view of it. Okay. Now again, not super clear. Came down, went up, and then dropped, and then again, here was your retest of the downside. Okay, so a little bit harder to see on the 30-minute. Let me see if 60 was giving you a little bit better of a view. Yeah, I mean, kind of. It broke through very, very strong, kind of dropped again, based, and then popped here, and it popped back into that zone. So you would, it's the best one probably that you're going to look on it is between the 4 hour and the hourly. Again, it was this pop up, and this pop touched the kind of basing level up top here. Okay, it went up, it grabbed the orders from the top of this, and then continued to push down. And we will do the measurement tool, because again, my goal is to get good at this measurement tool. Had you taken this from the break of this level here, now you're able to capture another 18 pips on top of the move. Okay, and again, the risk was very, very tiny. If you would have taken it, actually, that's not true. Hold on. It's there is where the pop is to this bottom right here, the red. So it's actually another 33 pips. So had you been already short this one, again, it did break the area. It did come back up. It did retest from that area, and then one additional 33 pips to the downside. Your risk on it was very, very tiny. You're talking about 69.79 up until 69.83. So about 4 or 5 pips on the top side, okay, had you been watching that one to the down. All right, and again, that happened late last night. Where we are right now, it is still continuing to drive down. We're not at the very, very bottom base yet. Obviously, the target on this one is 69.27 that we talked about. It got down to 41, it looks like, where we were at. So we got within about 10 pips. Again, I think it's just kind of stabilizing basing right now. We'll see if we have continued dollar strength tomorrow going into Friday, which wouldn't surprise me at all, especially with the advanced GDP number. That could be what drives this down to end off the week for this Aussie dollar trade. Okay. Again, been pretty nice to the downside. I mean, this thing has just been collapsing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically a week straight down, right? And again, when you see what it based off of, you guys can see a little bit higher, but again, it was this basing level that came up, hit it, and then collapsed through the bottom. Okay. Shrink it back there, and you can kind of see it, right? Boom, bounce, bound. So nice little trade. You know, this one has been a swing all week. All right. I'm more into this kind of single day ones, but again, you could have been holding this all week. Go over to Aussie, New Zealand. Let me get rid of the high-low data. Show the high-low data. Get off the high-low data. I'm going to have this thing mastered eventually. Did I take it off there? Yes. All right. So in here we talked about kind of coming back up into this area, and it really ran out of steam. It didn't do a whole lot. If you see what we kind of experienced today, right? This is where we're at right now. Yesterday's went down a little bit. It really didn't do a whole lot. Okay. It was rather kind of just And again, a little bit of a bounce on this. Okay, it switched back again. But on the 4 you can see we had a little bit of a pop-up. Really didn't do tons. We wanted to go a bit further. Hopefully tomorrow it's able to grind its way a bit higher. If it can grind back up into this top zone again, we're still willing to take that short. At this point, I'd be happy if it ground a little bit higher, and then I'm looking for the gap on Sunday. Remember, one of the Sunday gap strategies is a gap in the direction of the trend, waiting for the pullback to fill that gap, and that acts as the launching point forward. Although, if this one gaps into the supply zone up top, I'll be willing to take this one short. Okay, just based off of where it is and these levels and the move out of this area, it's worth a small short to the downside. To be able to take something from that level. And again, it coincides with what we see here. You guys can see this kind of wick right here, right? Bring it across, we literally tickle the very, very top of it, or the very, very bottom of it with the top of this candle, okay? 8 hours ago. So we are right there. We're close. It's not quite there. I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to front run it by too much, especially with the fact that both these pairs only have a couple hours left in them. Just not really worth taking that risk when, again, neither of those markets are open. It'll start to dry up on you, and then you're stuck holding position over the weekend. Just not for me, okay? But again, keep an eye on that one. Again, if you want to set an alert, if you guys remember, we did set that alert last night. So this is a function. I'm going to give them props. I like this one. Normally, when you set alerts, particularly with like MetaTrader or some of the other ones, it's harder to find them. I do like the fact that they had this alert section here. And not only do you have the price change alerts, but you have this section here where it tells you exactly when it triggered. A lot of times it's kind of there, but this is pretty nice, And again, I didn't get an email for it. I do not have the app installed on my phone. As you guys know, I don't do a lot of phone trading because my kids. But I do like the fact that it tells you when it was triggered, exactly when. If I can get this thing to start sending emails, I may be able to kind of work this in. So I'm impressed. I do like this. I think this is a very clear and easy way to see your alerts. So again, a lot of props to IG for that one. That was pretty nice. Again, so if you wanted to set an alert, you can always set it up an alert up in this area. Remember, we do have this drop sideways and then very, very strong drop, and that occurs right above where we are. This 104, what is it, 41 to 104.47. Okay, this little 6 pip area. So that's what we're kind of butting up against right now. Maybe set an alert for just on the other side, the 104.45. That would alert you when we're coming into this area, and that means that this area here has been cleared. Okay, once it's cleared, it's opened up for reversals. Okay, it's eating up all the orders, and hopefully it's not putting in too much, demand on the bottom side. But again, it gives us a little bit of an opportunity to take something on that one. Okay. Besides that, I mean, again, we're in area sellers here. We have sellers above here. We have the sellers, we have these sellers here, right? Edit, change this to, and that works. Okay, so that's what we're kind of sitting in. And again, this area on the 4-hour, bringing it down to go to the 30 minutes, that's what gives us the upper region up here. And you guys can see the orange and the kind of red on the top side. Okay, that's kind of the true area. This is just the bigger zone, and again, we're refining it by dropping it down. So you guys can kind of get an idea of where we're at. And it is funny; it's giving us a big, real strong red candle right now. It'd be interesting if it did grace off of here because it didn't really go much further, but there is a zone right here, and it is nice, right? This nice red, nice green, nice red coming out of it. So if it moves a little bit forward, we missed it by a tad. Oh well. Okay, is what it is. All right, so with that being said, that's the 3 Aussie pairs. Let's jump over to the Euro Pound. Okay, so. All right, Euro Pound. So check this spike out. Okay, so here is the spike to the downside. Look where it went back to. All the way back up. It got rid of all this junk in here and went all the way right back up to this top level. Okay, again, kind of like voodoo, right? Here we are right here at 19. And if you look back, here where we were last time. So it came across, it went down, it literally touched and graced our line, again, off the top of the body, and then went all the way back up and went to the start of this move. Retraced the entire racetrack based off the lower entry. Now, again, this is one you would have had to been there to be able to snag this one. Again, it didn't spend much time there. It literally went down, pulled back, and then in one candle, it kind of shot all the way back up again. So you had to be quick on this one. But again, it stopped here. And I think, Ernest, what did you call this earlier? Voodoo? You were like, yeah, it's voodoo, right? Isn't it crazy how that worked out? And again, look where it stopped. Okay, on the 4-hour, it stopped at the first candle of the large explosion, the extended range candle. So Josh was asking, Josh, it was either you or Ryan that said, yeah, I'm having a hard time with the zones. Well, there's the zone, right? We're looking for extended range candles. That shows us that there's a lot of buying, whether pressure or selling. What did it do? Ding. Hit this literally to the T and went all the way back up. And where did it go to? The start of the move. The same situation up here at the top. And it went right in. You can see that the wick. Yeah, see where the wick went to? There's the bottom. Right? You guys see there's the bottom. There's the candle behind. Okay. Again, you could move it all the way up. And again, it would have just graced the top of it. If you move it to there, hold on, that's a little too high. Right there, you guys can see we graced it all the way up top. Typically when it's this small though, and it's that small of a body, you just take the whole candle, okay? But again, you guys can see we graced the 3 tops of those. So as far as a news trade goes and kind of just, something that is powered like this, it's just amazing how that did that. All the way down, tagged a line, all the way back up again, all right? Where we are now, so technically we are standing in that upper level, okay? And we saw a bit of a retrace back out of it again, right? We saw this pop down, okay? Had you taken this level over here, it was very tiny risk. I mean, you're talking about, let's see, 56 up to 63. So you're talking about 9 pips. And then what did it do? Let's see if I can just move this one. I'm trying to get better with this moving here. There to here. Okay, 25. So you're up not quite 3, but 2.5 to 1 again in a fast little retrace back down again. So you obviously wouldn't have lost any money on there. You'd still be positive in the position right now. Once it based, though, most likely you would have taken yourself out of it. But again, you had the ability to kind of snag some more on that one if you didn't catch anything on the upside. Okay, but again, the drawing is there. The drawing speaks for itself. I love when you see things like this that literally you're like, look at this candle. I mean, all wick. Tiny body, and it literally went ding ding and hit both not only the demand but the supply area. Okay, and that's why this is so powerful. Okay, all right. So where we are going into the last day, obviously we got down to the 89 level. I was hoping that we would stay at the 89 and start going a little bit lower than that. I wanted to see if we could break this level. So we know there are definitely some buyers sitting down in this 89, really kind of down in the 89, 95-ish area, right on the other side of that round number. Got to take note of that because it did not spend a lot of time there. It ground its way down and took off. So got to be cautious. So anything we take to the downside is going to have a profit target. I don't care if it's the best zone somewhere in here. The profit target is going to have to be before we hit this level or right at that level. So just be cognizant of that if you guys are going to be trading this one tomorrow. Again, there's a little bit of news in the morning. It's nothing considered major, so we may or may not see any type of a spike. But at this point, we are establishing we had our red, we had our green, we had our red, and we have a bit of a green pullback right now. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this day plays out. Okay. Again, we have kind of two lower highs and two lower lows at this point. Okay. If this green does not go above 89, we are officially in a downtrend. Okay. That opens us up for a Sunday gap somewhere down here in the 88.60 area, which again, we would play the retrace back up and then take this one short with limited time, limited risk in this pair. Okay. Not a bad setup. All right. Jumping across to, let's look at Euro Yen. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Euro Yen. So look at this bad boy. All right. So, oh, the baby's banging on the door. Okay. So this thing came all the way down. Okay. It did make its way all the way back up, and this thing just exploded out the top. Okay. Now again, this can happen. Nothing is foolproof. Nothing is going to work. It didn't even, it kind of played this little. Let me click on this over here. Okay. You guys can see it came up before dropping, and this is all we got. See this wick, this little pullback right here? That's all we got from that zone before it literally just boom, blew higher and then went sideways. So, oh, hello, Jin Jin. Hello, Jin Jin. The door suddenly opens and the baby comes trotting in. Obviously, bedtime is late for a 1-year-old, but she came in to participate in chart school and say hi. So where we are with this one, going into tomorrow, this is very, very much a racetrack setup. You guys can see in the 30-minute, it took an hour and a half, and this thing flew, right? We're talking about 114 pips. The ATR in this one is not 114 pips, okay? This is almost double the ATR. I could throw it on here. I think this one has like the weird ATR. Indicator, average true range. Yeah, you're looking over here. So you're looking at about 80 pips, and again, that was kind of stimulated by this area. Again, you guys can see it was much, much lower than that. It was down in like the 70 pip range, and it's only higher because of those three candles. So you can see very, very big, large amount of movement inside of a small time frame. Let's see if I can delete this and get rid of this now. There we go. I'm learning. Right. So we're looking for a retrace in this one. We kind of had the confirmation right here. Okay, on the 30-minute, you can see we have our red, we have our green, we have our red. You'd be in a little bit of heat right now, about 13 pips. Your total risk on this position, if you got in at this level, would be 0.2. It's about 30 pips, so it's kind of a lot. I mean, it's 30 for 114, so I guess in the grand scheme of things, it is better than a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Although I typically try to get in for less than 30 pips. Ideally for me, I typically try to shoot between anywhere from like 8 to 15 is ideal. 30 is a bit much, especially on a 30-minute chart. Again, a bit of a retrace, and then it just kind of flattened out on us. But definitely interested in taking, basically retaking over this area and retracing this back down into the 102.35 range. So again, I would keep that marked off on your charts. To me, that is valid. Where it did come up to, you guys can see as well, right? We spiked up into this level, right? We had this impulse down, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. And again, it went up and grabbed orders. Okay, if I draw a box, you guys can see what it grabbed, what it ran into. Okay, and again, it also coincided with where we hit down here. You guys see this right here? That's what we ran into. Okay, so because it spiked up, we probably would have dropped to a lower time frame and gotten a better entry in this one. You probably still would have been positive. Okay, but again, 4-hour zone spiked right up, hit the 4-hour zone, has retraced back down again. So looking to kind of take over this bit of a racetrack with the target actually. here the wick's not included, but I would probably do probably down into that area. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. Any questions about the guys? More than welcome to ask a question about it. All right. Let's go across and look at euro dollar. You know what? We'll go to euro Aussie first. Okay, euro Aussie can give us some movement. And there. Okay. So similar situation. Okay. This one, however, on the 4-hour had the wick down and the wick up. And you guys can see, let's stretch this out a bit for you guys. Okay. This one, and we talk about movers, from top to bottom in 1 hour and 30 minutes, you can see we moved 170 pips. Okay. So quite a large bit. And you guys can see, look down here where it actually hit. Look to the left. What do we have there? We had basing, pop, sideways, pop. Okay, so drawing, I'll just use horizontal lines to make it a little easier so you guys can see it. There is the pop, and there's basically the level, right? Okay, wasn't the best because it spent a lot of time here as a lower quality level, but it did leave pretty well. Popped, sideways, pop, in just an area of nothing. And you guys can see where it spiked down to. Okay, so this would have been one again. Watch this one in news. The pop to the top side. This one went a little bit higher. Again, a lot of people would have targeted this, okay? It's actually this you needed to target, okay? And you guys can see, if you'd done the entire wick, you would have been fine. Maybe you would have missed this one at the top. But again, after 170 pips, most people are just like, all right, I'm good. Let me get out. It's starting to retrace on me. Big movement. So again, if you guys do like these big movement trades, this is the pair to watch. Definitely look at Euro Aussie, okay? But you can see how much movement this had, and again, pretty explosive move in 170 pips in, what are we talking, an hour and a half? Good trade. Real good trade. Okay. Unfortunately, I was not able to take advantage of this one today. Wish I was, but I didn't get this one. Let's go across and look at euro dollar. All right. So, euro dollar. Let's get rid of this. Get that out of the way so we can see a little bit better. Where do you want to start on this one? Okay. So, here, okay, on Wednesday, we had this little funky thing. And then here on Thursday, we had, again, this little funky thing up and down. It's a weird candle, right? It's definitely an extended range candle. If you want to measure this one top to bottom, we go from here up. You're talking about 84 pips, okay? This one does not have an 84 pip ATR. But in essence, where did it actually move? Did it really do a whole lot? Not really. I mean, we went from, 38 to 47, not even 10 pip body, right now, with the retracements up and down. You guys can see on the 30-minute, what do we do? Down, straight up, down across, and again, it's exactly where we spent a lot of time here from really Monday. It's really kind of stayed within the same range, right down here at 111.50, okay? And again, little pop, and right back again. So it's kind of just one of those little blips. This one, again, we were talking about having, going through and retracing back up again, but really this one kind of closed just barely above and never gave us an entry signal. Remember, what we're looking for is a retrace in, and then we drop down to the lower time frame for a confirmation entry, that red, green, red. Never got it on this one, right? If I drop this down to a 5-minute, where are we at? Okay, you guys can see it. We were here. We kind of got a little bit lower. We were waiting for the retrace. Here's the retrace, and then it just never stopped. So we never actually got an entry in there. We really didn't get any type of confirmation until back over here, and that was just it pulling back down again. And again, that's a little bit too much of a run. You want it to be quick. This one is just, it's garbage. So again, you wouldn't have been able to get into this one to play it. And again, you guys can see it easier here. See all this flatness right around the top of this? I mean, literally, we went from here at 111.38 to 111.48. So again, 10 pip range since Monday the 13th, right? Wednesday the 24th. It says Monday the 13th. I don't know why. I guess it's that's giving us the longer range, but yeah, that's what it is. It's a different range on the bottom. Yeah, so we're talking about this is 5 minutes. That's why. I was like, wait a second, hold on. There we go. That's what I was looking for, right? So you had back here on Tuesday. We've basically been stuck in this range since Tuesday. All right. It's like, wait a second, it's been there forever. Going into tomorrow, we'll see. Okay, I mean, looking at the economic calendar, you guys can see kind of there's a little bit of European, price index news, but It's considered low, so I don't know how much more it's going to move. I feel like this one is ready to pass on. I feel like tomorrow will be a lot of talk back and forth about Brexit, but I think it'll have more an effect on the pound than it actually will on the euro. Because right now, I mean, Brexit doesn't really necessarily affect the euro as much. I think it'll be more pound based. So I don't expect this one to be a big mover tomorrow. I think it'll be on the slower side. What I would do in that case is drop this down to 4 hour, 30 minute, and 5 minute and see what you can see. I mean, it looks like there's some good movement here, but we'll see what happens when the European session opens. Just remember, this one, if you're in it tomorrow, be trying to get out by, I'd say 11:30, 11 if you can, but 11:30, 12 at the latest. Once the Europeans are out, this thing dries up pretty fast. So just a word of caution, don't spend too much time messing around with this one. All right. With that being said, let's jump over and we'll look at dollar CAD right now. Okay. Ernest was talking today and he was like, oh, this one's setting up. And that was during kind of this pop, didn't really do much. Again, we had this little area top. It did pop up. You guys can see it graced the very bottom of this kind of zone that we had drawn before, the 131.53. We had marked off this 10 pip zone that this hit. Again, it drove all the way through, so not surprised, but it hit the bottom, came back down, retested the bottom, went right back up again, and now we are sitting in that same 10 pip zone. Okay. If you look on the 4 hour, again, we do have a bit of a racetrack. We have not gotten entry. We have not gotten up to this top level yet. And again, it hit some, you guys can see the two lines again. It hit that area, came back, and it's just pushed through. Waiting for this one to kind of turn around and collapse. Again, advanced GDP will move this tomorrow. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, I'm swallowing and I went down the right pipe. Sorry about that, guys. This will be affected by advanced GDP, so I'm looking for this to pop a little bit higher. If we can get some type of a news bounce, or if this thing will start to rally up before the news, I'd be willing to take somewhat of a short to the downside. One thing you could do is you could play this with currencies, give yourself a little bit wider of a room because the spread will pop a little bit during this type of news release. But, and I say but, this is also one of those opportunities where you could get in to start trading some Nadex, right? You could go over and maybe trade one of the out-of-the-money binaries a little bit, waiting for a bit of a whipsaw, right? Maybe one of the 2 hours gives you a little bit closer of a spread differential. Take something pretty cheap, and then again, if it goes back down just in the volatility or the whipping back and forth, take yourself out of this one if you really want. Okay, but I do think if we can get ourselves up into this 4 hour as well as daily supply zones, I think we're setting up a good place for us to be able to get a short off. Okay, and again, I like the daily short area. Even on the 4 hour is pretty nice as well. So again, we're seeing it across multiple different pairs. Okay, now it is uptrend confirmed just for you guys that are still focusing on trend states. But in an uptrend situation, we're typically waiting for a pullback, and that's what we have right now. This is an uptrend setup. Remember, if we get rid of the red, we use the green as our anchor. It is not engulfed by the red, so it is a trend. Going across, we run into a candle here. There's nothing here, so it's an uptrend. It's red candles. It's a pullback. So it is an uptrend setup, but, big but, it's an uptrend setup into an area of daily supply on the higher time frame. So it's a no-no. So it's not something you guys want to trade tomorrow. So if I'm not around and you guys post that one, just be very, very cautious with that. Uptrend setup into a supply zone, bad. It's a no-no. Okay? Any questions with that? I'm going to ask that real quick, and I know you guys have a little bit of a delay, but let me know if there's any questions about that, why you would not necessarily want to take that one. Okay? As you guys do that, we'll jump across, and we'll look at the dollar yen. Now, dollar yen is one of the bigger movers today. I mean, again, dollar pair, dollar CAD, again, it popped and then kind of came back down again. And then again, you see the big losers going against the dollar, and again, this one kind of just leveled out. All right. Okay, Josh, you got it good. I don't know if Ryan's on tonight. Ryan, if you're out there, go ahead and type for me. Actually, I don't think Ryan is. I think Ryan's watching the replay. I think he said he was working Thursday, Friday, and he was going to watch the replay tonight. I think that's who was asking about replays. All right. Now, this guy was a little tricky. Okay. Definitely some nice pushing up. Okay. We are close. When you look to the left on the daily, you guys can see we have a very, very nice zone right here. Very, very clear, right? Small candle, 2 wicks up top, very extended range, very strong candle, very, very little wick on the bottom. Nice area, right? You gotta be a fan of this right here. Okay. We are super, super close. We got right up to it, and then we kind of pulled back and stopped, and we've kind of trailed sideways a little bit. So where do we go with this one? Okay. This is one of those trades, and again, if we look over here, you guys can see, I will stretch this out a little bit so you guys can kind of see how close we missed it by, right? So this one, let's see, from its high, I wish I could drag it. That's the one thing I like about Ninjas. You can measure it and then drag it. 2.3 pips. So we missed the entry on this one by 2.3 pips, and it dropped about 16 to the downside. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, we were there, and yeah, we got front run. So we missed it by just a little bit, a little tiny area. So with that being said, what do we do now? Okay. It didn't hit the area, which kind of makes it a little bit interesting. What you have to be thinking is when we're this close is that it's pulling back to get more orders to make somewhat of a push up. Okay. With that being said, it came down, its push failed. Okay. We put in a new high. We put it in a lower low. So now we have a lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low. What do we got? Downtrend. Okay. So we have to think that, oh crap, it's reversed on us. What are we going to do? Now, again, this one kind of bounced over. It went back up. It didn't even go as high in this kind of push up. So it's trying to grind higher, but it ran into some sellers right before this area. So got to be a little bit cautious with it. Now, again, dropping it over here on the lower time frame on the 4, this is kind of this is the daily zone right now. If you guys wanted to shrink this, we could bring it up and move it up to that area. Okay. And again, you should see it kind of change. Yeah, there it just popped up. So it's not encapsulating the entire daily candle now, but it is doing it over here. Okay, so I guess I could do it like this. We could block off the actual zone there, and then I could take another one and block off this. Okay. Edit. There we go. And that's kind of our smaller zone. All right, so we're real close. You guys can see that. When we did that, we were able to shave a lot of risk off. And this is why you go to lower time frames to really dial this in. Now, again, can you get front run? Absolutely. Okay. Now, it used to be that our risk was... I'm not going to be able to see it. I have to go back a little bit. Our risk was 21. Okay. We were able to take our risk down to 13. Okay. Not as big a fan of 13, much bigger fan of 13. I'm sorry, not a big fan of 21, but much more of a fan of 35. I'm sorry, 13. Okay. Now bringing this down on the lower time frame, again, we can kind of get a little bit better review, and we could probably tighten it up a little bit. We could probably tighten this up, probably in that area. Probably about there. And again, I would tighten this up. That would bring us up to about 11, 10 range. We could go real small with it, but that's probably the safe area to kind of get a little bit. And again, not bad. Again, taking 21 down to 11 makes the risk of reward a lot better on this one. Bring it back across. Again, you guys can see. That's what we're looking for. Now, this is where you start doing the add-ons. Okay, you guys can see that this is the, again, I have to see what the ATR is, but your risk level is only about that. So had we gotten up there, you guys can see from where the entry is, it moved about 11. You were already at a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Hold on, my phone just blew up. All right, so that's kind of where we are. Now, tomorrow is where this gets interesting. Just got home from work and I'm on the live stream. Nice, welcome. If you just got on now too, don't forget, you can watch the replay. Twitch saves it for 14 days, and YouTube basically is indefinitely, so you can go back and kind of watch it. Not a ton of movement today, a few kind of setups, but nothing super crazy tonight, unfortunately. That's been Thursdays lately. But on this one, we're looking what to do with it. Now, very large push up. Again, a racetrack situation on the 4-hour. Again, we have our red, we have our green, not really any type of confirmation. We can see kind of the cliff that we're looking for. And on the cliff, we need to watch out for this zone right here and this zone. Again, why? Price moved up very fast, took one pause, shot higher, took another pause, shot higher again. So we know there's a level here, right? I'm going to draw a line here. So this is an area where we need to be cautious of, as well as this area. I'm going to change this to, little dots. You know what? We'll do. There we go. Much better. Apply. Edit. Little. There we go. Perfect. So those are two areas we got to watch out for. Below that, little wick over wick here, little wick over here. But again, if it's able to kind of get that momentum back to the downside, I think we can break all the way back down. And I believe that this would be a good target for us. Down here at 108.14. Okay. Go to the edit. We're going to change this to green. I mean, you can't tell anything. There we go. As somewhat of a target there. So two little speed bumps. Getting an entry. Ideally, I like this to get a little bit higher. I'm not worried about this formation, but I also don't want to chase it. I do want to get involved with it. What I'm probably looking to do is see how it reacts off of this area. We do have a level of basing, not a strong explosion off of it. As far as red, green, red go, we do have a red, a green, and a red. So you can technically, if you'd like to try that, you could use that if you really wanted to. And that would give you, and again, the entry is right about where we are right now. That would give you about a 9 pip, about a 10 pip risk on that one. Okay. We are actually right at entry right now. We could drop this down a little bit lower if you want. We'll go down to 10 minute and see what the candles look like. Yeah, it's about the same. But like I said, it's kind of lost momentum right now. If you're going to be up late tonight, you West Coasters, or you eat, middle country that like to stay up late, James and Ernest, that would be an area where you want to be, you'd want to be looking for any type of break below. Really, I'd say a break below probably 108.60-ish area. That will put you right in here. Okay, right about there. That will show you that we've broken these levels to the downside. And again, this is okay. It spent 5 bars there, so not super strong. It's not like a fast pullback. Again, the movement out of it was also not the fastest. It started to build up in time, not like this. This is a pretty nice level here where it came down and then boom, it shot. So, I mean, I'm putting this here to front run it just a bit, but we know that there's definitely some buy orders down here in the 108.40 area because it spent no time there and then immediately just exploded out of that zone. And that's a big telltale sign. How do you typically top the zones out on the wicks, highs or low? So when you're forming, all right, so here's the thing. So when you're drawing the zones, right, you're always using the wick at its farthest point, okay? You have to determine based off your risk level if you're going to take the bottom side. So like in this situation here, right, I'll blow this candle up big so you can kind of see it, right? Move this a little bit over. So in this case, I'm using the top of the wick and I'm using the bottom of the body, okay? What it's going to do is it's going to give you a moderate number of trade entries. You can take, and again, this is nothing, it's not wrong. You could take the entire kind of topping or the entire turning candle and use that as your supply or demand area. And what it'll do is it will give you more trades, but you also take on more risk. Okay. Depending on the wick size, just like you took the entire piece, Carl, you could go and come all the way this way too. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Lou, not Carl. So you could take the top side. Taking just the top is also not wrong. And what that does is it gives you the least amount of entries, but also the lowest level of risk, Lou, if that makes sense. Okay. I like the middle ground. I'm okay with it. And that's why I use the lower time frames to be able to regulate kind of what it is. Like here again, this is, 21, but yet when I come over here, I'm able to get it down to 11. And I did the same exact situation that I did here. All right. On the flip side, it's the same thing. Like this, I'm not marking this off as a zone. This is way too much risk. I'm not going to mark that off. But something like this, I would. Okay, this is not a bad one. But things like this, I typically don't mark those off. Okay, I do like the fact that it's descending. There are buyers there, but I'm not using this as a high priority zone. Okay, I'm only doing what's easy. Where you see big, long, extended range candles. This is kind of like kind of limped out. This is a very, very strong reaction on the first pop. I won't chase it. Yeah, Ernest, don't chase it. Got it? All right, cool, Lou. I'm glad you got that one. All right, so again, that's kind of like my wisdom for the night. So you got to be, you got to make sure that you watch those things. All right. And again, sometimes you run into situations like this and it can be frustrating. Like, oh, it's right there. Like Ernest just said, I didn't get triggered. And it's going to happen. It sucks. It is what it is. I mean, there are times where a very good friend of mine, very close friend who I respect very, very much. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was like March or April. And at that point, only a couple months in, only like a quarter, maybe it was like 4 months in, he had like 12 trades that he'd missed by a total of 16 pips. Total, all 12 of them. He'd miss one by like a couple, he'd miss one by like 8 pipettes, as you call them. He'd miss another one by 1.1. He just got so good at picking the zones, and unfortunately he was getting front run by big money before he could actually get in the trades, and it was super frustrating. Like you think it's frustrating to miss your profit target by that much? Wait till you miss your entry, and it does exactly what it is you wanted to do. And then you're like, well, maybe I need to add a buffer, and you can. Again, if you find that what you're drawing and you're always missing entries by this little amount, you can add a little bit of buffer on your entries on the bottom side as well as you would on the stop. So, who taught me all this? I don't know. How big of a list do you want? Missed entry, there's always tomorrow. There is, Ernest. Don't worry about it. There's nothing wrong with missing a trade and not getting in, but there's everything wrong with chasing one when it's already too late. Yeah, 987-325. There's multiple people that taught me this. This is basically just supply and demand is what this is. Okay, it's understanding supply and demand. Another gentleman named Jody. He really helped me understand trend states and what was going on smaller time frames, particularly with understanding and studying wick price action. Supply and demand I've gotten over a number of different years. And again, there's a couple different strategies in here. All right, no questions over there. All right, so as I said, I'm looking to get into this one. I'm looking for a confirmation entry to the downside. I wanted to get momentum back. Right now, we don't have it. Again, spiked high, missed, spiked high and missed. It doesn't mean that this is not the flip. It may push up a little bit more. And again, what I would do is I would kind of like hold, I would hold this one for a bit, see what we do going into the European Open, see if we can get a pop up. If you want to put some limit entries in, I'm fine with 11 risk. You could throw a limit order up into this area at 108. Again, figure out on your platform, but 108, 85, 86-ish area. Again, using just the body. Actually, I'm using the entire red candle since it's very, very small up top, the red and the green body, to kind of limit your risk on this one. And again, your targets, again, 108.15 I think is probably the best area. Do be cautious. Again, it is Friday. Literally, I'm typically out. If I'm trading Friday, I'm typically out by, like I said, 11:30. No longer than 12. 12 is kind of like the hard point for me on Fridays. I think it's funny that Top Step lets you trade to, I think it says like 3:45 Central Standard Time. I'm like, yeah, right. Who the heck is trading that long on Friday afternoon, particularly in currencies? I mean, literally at like 12 o'clock, it dries up. It gets pretty shy, right? But yeah, so I will mark this, and we're looking to kind of overtake this area tomorrow. And again, I don't know, kind of big movement. Advanced GDP should be able to do it, but we'll see how it goes. We're looking to do something along those lines. All right, is what we'd be looking to do. So that's kind of the best that I have. One word of caution with this one. Again, if we do have a lot of dollar strength, if that's how they're going to finish off the week, this top zone won't hold. So again, if you're going to take a trade like this, again, remember, if you're taking the trade, it's on you. It's your determination. It's solely your responsibility. Be okay with an 11 pip loss. Okay, make sure you position size yourself correctly. And again, I'll bring those things up. I think that was good that we did it the other day. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, you guys remember these two yesterday? Understand, how to position size yourself. Okay. Again, know how much it is. It's $9.25. Go across whatever size account it is. If it's 10 grand, again, we can trade, whatever, 10 grand. Let's do, here, we'll do 15 grand today. Okay. We'll change this to euro. I'm sorry, dollar yen. Where is it? I'm missing it right there. Okay. And bam, hit calculate, and you're good to go. 2.3. Now again, on the smallest contract in Top Step FX, you can only trade 2, but again at 2.3, you're risking $300. That's 2% of this. If you're looking to retrace this down to the bottom, okay, let's just say you get in at the top of this green. This is a 42 pip bit of movement. You guys can see again. Let's go back to that. Where is it? Position sizer. So you can see, again, we're only going to do 2 standards. Okay, so it's easier just to use the actual kind of spreadsheet at this point, not the actual position sizer. But if that was on your account, you would do it over there. You guys can see it over here. It's 925 or 924 if you guys want to be specific. Okay. So $9.25 per pip times 2, because we can take up to 2 standard lots on the smallest package. You can go actually higher if you really want to go that way. And then times that by 42. Okay, $760. So you're missing basically the week one of stage one of the combine by $225. Okay, in one trade. All right. So again, let's make sure we get those funded accounts out there. And again, I'll post the link. Actually Monday, I guess. I thought it was originally the 26th, but I think it's the 27th. So on Saturday they put the new link up with the actual full summer promotion. The thing that they keep saying, stay tuned. That'll be out on Saturday, and I'll post it for you guys. Can you trail an IG? I don't know. Maybe not. No, it doesn't look like it, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. And then, I don't know. I'd have to mess with it a little bit more. I haven't tried to actually enter one over here yet. But if you guys do have it on your phone, you could always just, here's what you could do. Okay. What you could do is if you have the trade on, instead of trailing it, you could set an alert, right? Say you got short this and you wanted to set an alert for this level right here and say, okay, when I get to here, I'm up 1.5 my risk. Okay. Have the alert, go send it to your phone app, and then all of a sudden, boom, manually drag it down and boom, there's your trailing stop. But you will be notified when it hits that price level, and it will send it to the app on your phone, and that's your notification to manually pull it up. Same idea. Does that make sense? That's what I would say, do. Yeah, just manually trail it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Again, that also requires you having the app on your phone. Like I said, they're trying to see what's going on with this account. All right. All right. Any questions about that? Like I said, wasn't as many setups tonight as there was last night. Again, some good movement, but again, markets are flat. This is the last week of July. Again, this is just kind of pitiful. When the Swiss is the best moving pair, we're in slow time period. Like I said, I really, 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 really hope that Trump has sent a Twitter account across to Boris Johnson, because I think those guys could have some awesome Twitter battles back and forth that the market will just be like, this is crazy. All right. All right, guys, with that being said, it's right at 10 o'clock. We sped through, but like I said, not a lot of news to talk about tomorrow. Chart School, we'll see you guys back at Monday night, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This weekend, I'm going to try to get a little bit more content. So if you guys have not gone over to the YouTube page, if you guys could go over there, hit like and hit subscribe for me on the videos. I'm going to get a little bit more content up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try. I'm not going to promise, but I'm going to try my best to put up the. I think I'm gonna throw it out there and just do the weekend gap strategy. I'm gonna show some examples. We had the good examples on the Euro Aussie. I'm gonna put it into kind of a small training, small video, and just throw that up there for people so they can get some free strategies out of it. So if you guys go over the YouTube page, like it for me, I appreciate it, and we'll go from there. So make sure you check it out. That's the only place it's gonna be posted. All right. So with that being said, have a good weekend, guys. Enjoy the weather. I know it's not hot anymore, and I will see you guys Monday night. Take care, and I'll catch you on Discord.